Hello everyone, and welcome to our channel. Are you one of the millions of people who toss and turn at night, your mind racing with thoughts, anxieties, and a never-ending to-do list? Have you tried everything from warm milk to counting sheep, only to find yourself wide awake, staring at the ceiling at 3 a.m.? Well, what if I told you the secret to a peaceful night is sleep isn't about clearing your mind, but about filling it with something utterly uninteresting? That's right. Today, we're diving into the wonderfully mundane world of sleepy time tales and yawn-worthy chronicles. We're exploring the science and art behind using intentionally dull stories to help you drift off into a deep, restorative slumber. It might sound counterintuitive, but stay with me. The goal isn't to entertain you, it's to bore you gently and effectively into dreamland. So, how does this work? Our brains are naturally wired to seek stimulation. When we're trying to sleep, an overactive mind can be our biggest enemy. Exciting podcasts, thrilling audiobooks, or even your own worries can act like caffeine for your brain, keeping it alert. Boring stories, on the other hand, do the exact opposite. They provide just enough narrative to occupy your mind and prevent it from wandering into stressful territories. But they are so deliberately unexciting that your brain doesn't feel the need to stay engaged. Think of it like a gentle, mental rocking chair, a monotonous voice narrating the history of paper clips, the detailed process of paint drying, or a fictional tale about a man meticulously sorting his sock drawer. There are no plot twists, no dramatic moments, no cliffhangers. The narrative is flat, predictable, and incredibly soothing. Your brain, finding nothing of interest to latch onto, gets the signal that it's safe to power down. It's the cognitive equivalent of a warm, heavy blanket. Let's explore some of the characteristics of a perfect slumber story. Firstly, the subject matter must be mundane. We're talking about topics that are factual, process-oriented, or just plain ordinary. Think about a detailed description of a suburban train journey, focusing on every stop and the changing yet unremarkable scenery. Or perhaps an exhaustive guide to the different types of knots, explained in painstaking detail without any adventurous context. The key is to avoid anything that could trigger an emotional or intellectual response. Secondly, the delivery is crucial. The narration should be in a calm, steady, and monotone voice. The pace is slow and deliberate, with regular pauses. There are no sudden changes in volume or tone. This consistency creates a predictable auditory environment, which is incredibly comforting for a brain that's trying to switch off. It's the vocal equivalent of white noise, but with a gentle, guiding structure. Let's try a little experiment right now. Close your eyes if it's safe to do so, and just listen. Imagine a vast, quiet library. We are going to explore a single, unassuming book on a forgotten shelf. The book is titled A Comprehensive History of the Color Beige. The first chapter begins. Beige, a color often described as a pale sandy fawn, a grayish tan, or a light grayish yellowish brown, has a history as subtle as its hue. Its etymology traces back to the French word beige, which originally meant natural wool that has been neither bleached nor dyed. In the mid-19th century, the term began to be used in English to describe this specific, unassuming color. Are you feeling sleepy yet? Notice how your mind might have started to drift. You were listening, but you weren't gripped. That's the magic. Your mind is occupied, but not stimulated. It's being gently guided away from your own thoughts and towards a state of rest. This is why these unexciting narratives are such a powerful tool for anyone struggling with sleep. Now, you might be thinking, where can I find these yawn-worthy chronicles? The good news is there's a growing community of creators dedicated to the art of boring storytelling. You can find podcasts and YouTube channels specifically designed for this purpose. They have titles like Sleep With Me, where the host tells rambling, nonsensical stories, or channels that read declassified government documents, technical manuals, or even the phone book. Yes, really. And you can create your own. The next time you can't sleep, instead of letting your mind race, try to invent your own dull tale. Narrate in your head the process of making a very simple sandwich. Describe every single step in excruciating detail. First, I walk to the refrigerator. My hand reaches for the cool, smooth handle. I pull the door open, and a gentle light illuminates the contents. My eyes scan the shelves, past the jar of pickles, beyond the carton of milk, until they land on the packet of sliced cheese. By focusing on these mundane details, you're performing a kind of mindfulness exercise, anchoring your brain in a simple, non-threatening present. This technique is particularly helpful for those who experience anxiety at night. Anxious thoughts often spiral, jumping from one worry to the next. A boring story acts as a circuit breaker. It interrupts that spiral and replaces it with a linear, predictable, and unchallenging narrative. It doesn't solve your problems, but it gives your mind a much-needed break from them, allowing sleep to finally take over. Let's consider another example. A story about a man named Arthur who decides to repaint a single, small wall in his hallway. The story wouldn't be about any decorating disasters or surprising discoveries. Instead, it would focus on the minutiae. Arthur spends 10 minutes choosing the perfect shade of off-white. He then carefully lays down dust sheets, smoothing out every wrinkle. He stirs the paint for what feels like an eternity. The gentle thwack thwack of the stirring stick against the can being the only sound. He applies the first coat with long, even strokes from top to bottom, then left to right, ensuring complete coverage. The narrative would describe the texture of the roller, the smell of the paint, the slow, methodical transformation of the wall from one shade of neutral to another, slightly different shade of neutral. There is no conflict. There is no climax. The story simply ends when the wall is painted and Arthur is quietly cleaning his brushes. The end. By this point, hopefully, the listener is long gone, deep in a peaceful sleep. It's important to remember that this is not about being lazy or unintellectual. It's a strategic use of our own psychology. It's about understanding that our brains need a gentle off-ramp at the end of a long day, not a mental fireworks display. Slumber stories are the ultimate guide to a peaceful night's sleep because they honor the brain's need for rest by giving it permission to be bored. So, tonight, instead of fighting your racing thoughts, try embracing the mundane. Find a podcast that reads shipping forecasts. Listen to a video about the manufacturing process of cardboard boxes. Or create your own yawn-worthy chronicle. Give your brain a break from the excitement, the drama, and the worry. Let it sink into the comforting, predictable, and wonderfully dull world of sleepy time tales. You might just find that the most uninteresting story you've ever heard is the key to the best night sleep you have had in ages. Thank you so much for joining me today to explore the art of boring storytelling. I hope you found this, well, not too interesting. If you'd like more tips for better rest and a calmer mind, please consider subscribing to our channel and hitting that notification bell. We'd love to have you as part of our community. Until next time, sweet dreams.